Sup shooters, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track by an act named Aftermath titled No Time to Waste. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves the track on Spotify. We're going to listen through it from start till finish. We're going to hear what we think. Let's go.
The scumbags are in control.
So is that like the vocalist or something from a movie or something? I like the guitar tone though, nice filtering.
World of confusion, a world of distress. Symbolized scattered into the sky.
I think I've actually heard this song before. That's interesting. It's very rare that I have a first impressions of the band, then I realize I've actually heard them before.
False lights are flying, this isn't our touch.
Great sense of tension there with the vocal fry on the
People makes us upset.
and those relentless double kicks.
Problem
You know, this is nice and the mixing's fairly fresh as well, you know.
solution, you die.
Okay.
Smash, reset, control, smash. No time, no time, no time to waste. 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 Smashing,
Okay, and I like the fact that we kind of had the vocals on the pan on the sides there, just add a bit of width to it and to sort of separate the verse from the hook, you know? And to have those really dissonant, distorted chords there in that verse section there to illustrate the tension from the added context is great.
control, pull out the whistle. Human resources, something is wrong. Criminal leaders, crisis creators. They need to vanish, you've been informed.
Damn, okay, that's the angle we're going for.
Problem, reaction, solution, you die. Smash, reset, control, smash. No time, no time, no time to waste. No time.
It's interesting to have the drums do the similar kind of 16th note groove the entire time. I'm very used to having sort of differences in the way that we phrase these like transitions between like the verses and the chorus and something like that. But to have that the whole time, sort of to take away the symbols and reintroduce them, like for some sort of a tom focus or the antithesis of that is kind of dope actually. It's great how we can get that amount of mileage out of it.
You have been hacked. Vibrations bent. Spiraling down into the sea. Electricity is free.
Oh, I love how unsettling this is with these slides. Is that like a pitch pedal or like a tremolo or something like that? Nice rounding out with the bass and low end as well. The harmonize shred's pretty solid as well.
Well, light awakens, my city's unchained. Dispersing the metal, poisoning rain. Clouds eating fires, bioenergetics. Nanoparticles, sustainable development. Problem, reaction, solution, you die.
It's really creepy having the control smash kind of whispery going on. It's kind of it's a very unsettling experience. Works well within the genre though. It's a nice contrast to the vocal fry that we have the growls that are occurring within that verse. fantastic work on the double kick at the end. That was the point in which case I think we got to 16th triplets or 30 seconds. It was welcome. I was welcome to that shift there in the rhythm section, but there was so much adjustment going on with the guitar, the bass, and the vocals that I really don't think we needed to. Again, we didn't need to sort of overcomplicate it, because this is my conclusion of this track, No Time to Waste by Aftermath. And what do I think this track is about? I think this track is about... I was commenting on like Poison Rain and like Leaders and everything like that, and No Time to Waste and the damage. I assume it's about the speed of the way that we develop and grow as like a civilization or as a people. The rate of the chaos or the decay of the moral or sort of environmental fabric or something like that. And it's kind of like No Time to Waste, as if we're rushing to our deaths. I think that's kind of the what this track is about. I could be wrong. That's what I got from the vocals. It might be a bit more nuanced there. The story was compelling. The vocals were great. You know, they worked really well within the genre, and they had a sense of urgency to the vocals. And as if we're going into Madness by going this quickly into it with those sort of really sort of creepy, sort of demented whisper parts. You know, I'm not going to lie. I don't really think we should have done the vocals differently. It was kind of nice to have the sort of cleaner kind of vocals in the hook as a contrast to those growls in the center field. You know, it's just little things like changing the placement of them. You know, double tracking them gives them a bit more sort of like oomph and a bit more width. It's great. I don't really have any complaints about the vocals at all. I think they're a good vocalist, good sort of, you know, grasp of head and chest voice, and they sold it. The motif behind it, the general sense of tension and chaos from those sort of augmented or like sort of twisted minor-esque kind of chords that we had, with just the fadey distortion that kind of chipped away. With the double kicks, they're keeping things pushing forward, added a sense of urgency to it instrumentally. And when things came down a little bit with sort of the no time to waste, you know, that hook line was repeated in a way that was really, it was the right way to do it. It was catchy, but not in like a cheesy kind of sense either. It made sense with everything else. I think the relative simplicity of the motif behind the vocals, you know, with the vocal fry and everything, added a sense of, was more impactful than if they'd had sort of like shreddy, intricate bits that kind of were a little bit too colorful for what was going on. Having again those palm mutes down in that low end for the hook kind of gave more sort of like room for the vocals on the sides to breathe. And just rolling with those root notes and maybe the Phrygian flat second or something like that was a nice move there. Again, with the consistency and the barrel of those drums. The solo section was obvious. I mean, like at 3 minutes 40, before talking about the solo section, there was a lot put in here. There was no filler, and it went through very, very quickly. You know, I felt like it flew by. But the solo section was great. It was an unusual way of approaching it with those harmonized double tracked slide guitar solos with the tappy and sort of tremolo bits. Again, it added a sense of tension and disillusionment and almost like something kind of bigger than what was being discussed was occurring in a way that was not going to ever be preferable. And I think that it suited the solo was a great alternate voicing to what the vocalist was doing, and added a nice extra little bit of zazz to the track as a whole. And going back into that hook afterwards was great. It was a great choice just to finish it out. I think again it was the right length for what they had in it, and they stuffed it full of stuff and to enjoy, and that was great. Yeah, no issues whatsoever with the performance side of things. Great chemistry between the band members. It was loud the whole way through. Actually, no, not necessarily loud the whole way through. It was like there was differences in the perceived loudness because of the different combinations of instruments in the arrangement. But at the same time, I think that you know, it was the production, recording, mixing, mastering testament to the band. It was nice and loud, like with the limiting compression side of things. The vocals were recorded really nicely. You know, there's clarity to the way they were done. You know, the effects change on them weren't overdone. Maybe a little bit of reverb in that hook section on the sides, along with the panning, a bit of automation or something like that, and filtering. I mean, like the guitars, the bass, and the drums, how they were mixed and sort of filtered and put together and stacked in the, you know, frequency spectrum stereo field. They were great. The drums were consistent and punchy the whole way and through, and you know, double side changed the bass guitar really, really well. So there's a great balance there, and that's testament as well as the proficiency of the studio production in general. The guitars, when they came on the sides, they were raucous, especially in the verses. They were fiery, and I think that like with guitar mixing, especially in like rock and metal, there's a fine line between overdoing it and leaving it just raw enough just for it to sound like it matches everything else. And I think there's a little bit of room sound in there, if I'm not mistaken. But all in all, I'm just really happy with how the guitars sound as well. They're sort of notched well on top of the bass and the drums, and they sit well with the vocals, and especially in those lead sections as well in the hooks. I'm just really happy with it. They knew what they were doing in the studio. And finally, like it sounded nice and wide in the stereo field in general, like the sound surrounded you in the headphones. And again, the limiting compression was great. It was nice and loud without pumping. And I mean, that's effectively my review of this track by Aftermath titled No Time to Waste. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do check out their various social medias and their Spotify page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next review. Spartans up.